Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another video from JP Tech. In this video, we're looking at the Operation Underground performance on the Ryzen 3900X running stock with PBO enabled and 3600 CL14 custom sometime memory. If you guys have played this newer mode to Battlefield 5, you'll know that it is an absolute CPU crusher, and we're going to examine right here how it runs on Ryzen. So I want to note right off the bat, there's a couple changes to the system compared to the last time you might have seen it running Battlefield on the channel. Instead of the Asus X470 Hero, I'm running the Asus X570 Hero now. I'm also, in this test, I'm using the G-Skill Trident's Neo 3600 CL14 kit. I'm not using the XMP profile or DLCP profile. I'm using a custom subtimed 3600 clock, and I'll show that right here on the screen right now. I do want to note that I should have more videos coming on this 3600 CL14 memory. I'm going to give you guys a quick answer on whether or not you should buy it right this instant, and I would say for 99% of people out there, you should probably avoid it, because I can pretty much achieve these clocks are really close to these, or excuse me, these timings and clocks on this memory with 3200 BDI. That's about half the price. So for the $280 that this 16 gig kit costs, I could get 32 gigs at 3200, and I could achieve, you know, essentially the same timings, if not the same timings, you know, depending on the luck of the Silicon Lottery. Now this memory, I've tried to push further. For whatever reason, I'm having some issues pushing the F clock beyond 1800 this time. So I'm going to experiment with that a little bit more. But right now when I push for 37, 33 megahertz on the memory, I'm getting some USB issues, and it seems other people do as well. And this could be for various reasons, and I'm still trying to sort that out, because I do want to try to push for a solid tight subtimed 3733 or 3800 megahertz on the memory. And guys, this also emphasizes on why I think that 3600 megahertz on the RAM and going as tight as you can with the subtimings is the most ideal place to be with Zen 2. You really don't know where you're going to be able to go beyond 3600, if you'll even be able to go beyond it. The vast majority of Zen 2 products that are currently out can support 3600 memory 1-to-1 with the F clock quite well. There's of course a few exceptions to that rule depending on motherboard and, you know, the CPU's IMC quality. Really 3600 is that sweet spot, and of course you can always try to push beyond that, but your luck will vary, and buying memory, expensive memory that will allow you to push beyond that might be a waste on your system based on the memory controller on the actual processor. This system's also no longer in a case for the time being, because I've tried a bunch of different things. It's out on my open bench setup. It is using a Cooler Master ML240 AIO right now. At the top of the information on the side of the screen, that's both CCD temps right there, 1 and 2. And all of the clocks on the left side are CCD 1, and on the right side they're CCD 2. Now, enough talking about the system, let's go ahead and talk about the performance. This Operation Underground setup is very player dense. There's a lot going on in a little area. There's a lot of smoke, a lot of things blowing up, just a lot of action in a tight space. It is 64-man, and it's just pure chaos. And it's pretty fun in my opinion. Maybe it's not for everybody, but nonetheless, I'm actually quite pleased with the way Zen 2 is still able to manage this game while using these very ideal memory clock and timing. So far, all the rounds that I've played on this new map have been pretty good. They hover around like 150 FPS or so. You know, there are dips where it'll get into like the 130s. There's extremely rare dips where I'll find myself seeing closer to 100, like 107, 117 on like the more worst case scenarios on the low preset at QHD. I've seen the same thing on my 9900K. It's really just the nature of what's going on in this map. It's super CPU demanding. Really, overall, the play experience is quite smooth. I didn't have any complaints. And one thing I also want to note is some of my previous videos, all except for the first 3700X video I released, I've been using something to keep the standby memory clear because that's been quite an issue for Battlefield for some time. And I'm actually not using that here, so I don't know if in some of the recent Windows updates or Battlefield updates or what might be solving the issue. I'm not having any of those massive spikes and hangs that used to plague Battlefield 1 and 5, that is. You know, there's a couple little hiccups here and there, but most of them aren't really even felt. The frame time graph could probably look a little smoother, but I cannot feel any of that in the play experience, and it's not something that's exclusive to this machine. As you can see though, we're definitely CPU bound, and this is pretty much going to happen on anything when any CPU that is using the 2080 Ti on QHD low setting, because it's just the GPU is able to push so many frames at that visual quality, and it really just rests on the CPU at that point. And this game doesn't utilize all 24 threads on the 3900X. And some of you are probably like, well, turn SMT off, and we'll explore some of that too. In some of my past testing, it hasn't been worth restarting my computer every time I want to play a game versus encode a video or something, for instance. The performance loss, if any, most of the time, is not even worth turning SMT off. But I'm definitely going to explore it on this map as well and see where we end up. There should be some videos that I'm able to release after this that will explore some other memory. I do have some Micron eDie on hand. We'll explore that. I can tell you already, I did mess with, even using this really fast 3600 CL14 on the DOCP profile, it doesn't run as good as the custom subtimings, and I mean, I guess you could expect that. Really, this all just comes back to the fact that manually entering subtimings for Ryzen is extremely valuable to the performance. Much of the subtimings of memory is up to the motherboard to figure out for your memory. And the vast majority of the time, it's just not gonna do it as well as if you can do it yourself using a helpful tool like the DRAM calculator. You know, your mileage is gonna vary based on your kit of memory, your motherboard, and everything else, the IMC on your CPU. But ultimately, regardless of the memory that you buy, if you want maximum performance, you really should use the DRAM calculator and work out a memory subtiming configuration that works best for your system, because every kit out there is going to benefit from manually entering subtimings. That's just the way it is. And you know, depending on your performance goals and the GPU you have and the settings you play at, resolution, all these things, they're really going to determine how much you need that memory tweak. For me, I play with a 2080 Ti or even the 1080 Ti that I also have. I like to play at a good high refresh QHD resolution, and in order to get those frame rates that I want, I need the 3600 with the tight subtimings. And really, that has given me an experience that until now I could only find on Intel. So at the end of the day, I can't emphasize enough how important custom memory subtimings are. And hopefully in some future videos I can show you more on this map with memory just on its DOCP profile, and you know, really let you guys see the difference between some of these different kits. Alright guys, well, I'm going to wrap up the commentary for this video. I'm gonna try to get some other videos out. Sometimes I get busy and I don't get videos out that I would like to. I have been doing a lot of testing behind the scenes though, despite the lack of videos being uploaded recently. I'm gonna try to get you guys some more configurations with different kits, different timings on this Zen CPU. I gotta borrow the 3700X back out of my wife's system. I went ahead and put that in there. It might have been a mistake because now I want to do some testing with it again. Should have a video coming on the build for her system. I don't want to make any promises on videos that are coming because sometimes I get really wrapped up in other things and I can't devote the time that I need to the channel right now. But I'm going to try to get more coming for you guys. If you guys like the video though, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more from JP Tech, hit subscribe. And for the few subscribers that I do have, I appreciate you greatly. I would really like to try to get up to 1,000 subscribers this year as a first milestone that I've set on the channel since its conception. If you guys could help me do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Until the next video, guys, I'll see you around.
Hier, Erste Hilfe. Ich bin für dich da. Keine Sorge, ich helfe dir. Hier, noch mehr Erste Hilfe.